Hi, I'm Morgan,
And I'm Megan,
twins and host of M&M Chat.
a monthly podcast that brings together our many commonalities: motherhood, farm life, fitness, chasing our passions, and go chat.
It is our goal to create a show that is positive, real, and fun. Now, let's dive into this month's episode. Okay, you guys, happy holidays. I have
Yay!
my Santa headband on. I got my Joy to the World Cup, and we are feeling festive. Today's episode is called Bramble Ramble, and it's called that because we are going to literally just ramble tonight. So join us for a fun conversation about all things Christmas and holidays. And we found out recently that Bramble is actually the name of a berry. It's a traditional berry that's consumed around this holiday season. And the reason we figured that out is because we were listening to the podcast You Can Sip With Us, and they recommended a festive Truly pack. And one of those was called Berry Bramble.
Yeah.
So um,
A
so
fun
that's where
fact.
we figured out that a bramble is a holiday berry. So we will just begin with a fun would you rather, and Megan's going to kick that off for us. But first, Megan, how are you doing this holiday season? I know it can be crazy as a teacher.
Yeah, so we are heading into break here soon. We have like 8 days left until we make it there. This time of year is just exciting and a lot going on, but also you can tell everyone's ready for break. So it'll be nice to have that time off for everybody, teachers, students, staff, everybody. But yeah, we're trying to get parent gifts created. I need to get my student gifts wrapped up, gifts from me. I think this year we're just going to do something called snowman soup. And it's just like a little hot cocoa packet, but there's a little saying that's like snowman soup. All the ingredients are for the snowman to make. And then we have our music concert coming up and all of that. So lots of exciting things, but definitely ready for a break. And then to start fresh in the new year. How's your kind of season going with wrapping up everything from harvest and the fall and your lessons are probably starting to wind down for the season too before you head into break.
Yes, so I'm looking forward to taking some time off this Christmas. I'm taking, I think, the whole week between Christmas and New Year's. So I'm excited to be home with Dean for that. And I actually have a Christmas flower arranging class this coming week. And so I'm looking forward to that. It filled up, so that's good.
Yay!
And we will be making a Christmas centerpiece. And so I need to brainstorm what I want that to look like. So that's my plan as we start this next week, and then the workshops on Thursday. I've also been doing a few wreaths here and there, and I just held a wreath making workshop last weekend. So it's been fun, but then I've been just trying to do some fun things at home with Dean, like make sugar cookies, or we've been painting with red and green paint and just doing some kind of arts and crafts things. So it's been fun. Like you said, it's a crazy, beautiful season. And I always wrap up fall thinking, oh, the holidays are going, I'm going to slow down. I'm going to like breathe and just relax, watch Hallmark, which we're going to talk about kind of those traditions today. But it's always crazy trying to like visit family and do all the festivities. And there's usually fun things. You want to go look at lights, or you want to go to some community festive weekends like Light Up Oxford and stuff like that. And I feel like we've been coming down with some sicknesses. So we're recovering from colds and the flu and stuff. And so it's been crazy, but good. And I have read quite a few books and watched a few movies, so I'm still resting, so that's good.
That is good. I hear you on the sicknesses and the colds. I feel like it just keeps going around. I swear Andrew's been on Motrin or Tylenol for like the last week, whether it be a cold, stuffy nose, fever, or teething. We've just had it all, I feel like, the last week. And I am just ready for him to feel completely better and for us not to have to use medicine anymore and just to get over that. But even Walmart, when I went there today, the children's medicine aisle was bare. They didn't even have Motrin. So I think it's just really hitting everybody hard this season, it seems like.
I think so too. I think you're right. Yeah.
Um, yeah, well, should we kick off our holiday episode with the Would You Rathers? The first one, would you rather have a nose that's red like Rudolph or be green like the Grinch?
I think I would rather have a nose that's red like Rudolph because I feel like I don't know, it's smaller. I mean, it's probably still pretty noticeable, but it would have its perks. I mean, it would light up, so when you're outside, you would have some light. And green, I just feel like trying to get dressed with being all green would some clothes might clash with that. And you could see the green. Like if you're looking at your arm, you could see the green. But if your nose is red, you're not gonna see it unless you look in the mirror.
Oh, if it's glowing.
Yeah.
I would
How
have
about
to
you?
I would have to agree, probably Rudolph, just because that nose is super important. I mean, it leads Santa through the fog, so you'd have an important job to do. And whether if I know it's not asking you to be a reindeer, but I feel like I could have a purpose for here too. Like I could see through the fog when we're walking on the sidewalk, or
More
um,
practical.
yes, versus having green skin, then that's not really like you're not going to use that for anything. Besides, people might think you're the Grinch, but
Yeah, you already get that um stereotype that you're grumpy and stuff
yeah,
around the holidays. You'll get
yes,
jokes too.
yes,
Rudolph's a friendly deer or reindeer, so people will associate you with being friendly.
yes.
Okay, the next one. This one, I think I know your answer to, but it will be fun to talk about it. Would you rather spend Christmas in New York City or on a farm?
I would say you probably know that I'm going to say affirm, and that is my answer. But I do think it would be cool to go like maybe once, or not even New York City, but just to go on a vacation once during the holidays. But like I said, just like once to experience like Christmas somewhere else. But typically, I like to be around family around the holidays, and since we live on a farm, I could use that as it would be my family farm. That would be in the would you rather. And but Kyle and I did spend Christmas on a honeymoon in heading to Australia. And then one year we did spend with our parents Christmas in Florida. So I have been elsewhere during the holidays. So it wouldn't be bad to be in New York during Christmas, but I would probably choose being on a farm. You too?
Yes, I think most years I would definitely choose the farm, and like you said, being around family. But there is something kind of magical about the idea of being in a big city on the holidays. I think it's just from my um perception from watching the like Hallmark movies. Like they have the coffee shops you can go visit right there. They have all of these like bakeries and things you can walk to. So I think it seems like something kind of it's more romanticized in my mind of it's probably not that much so that way because you have a ton of traffic and things. But I would say it would be kind of fun to experience it at least once. Now, getting Tyler to go to a big city, especially on the holidays, would be an absolute no-go. So it would if I ever end up in New York City on a holiday, it's probably an ghost trip.
Yes.
But just like being on a farm and having the quiet, and having like the peacefulness, especially if it snowed or something like that, and sipping hot cocoa, that just is more up my alley. But I think both can have those special qualities.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. Okay, so would you rather be snowed in alone or with your entire family?
with my entire family.
You're not
I mean, I they
one of those people like on the four Christmases where the couple was like they were dragging their feet to go to every single Christmas that they had.
No, and it might be a little bit of a house full if it was our entire family. But one, that would just seem very like, I don't know, if you got snowed in and I mean if it was like snowed in and like I had one person there that like either you or if Tyler and I got snowed in or Dean and I got snowed in, then I'd have like someone to like hang out with. But I think just being snowed in on the holidays by yourself, um, so I definitely would choose my family. I think even though it might get a little crowded, depending on how long we were snowed in for. We could do a lot more fun things like play cards or go sledding or have some yummy food, watch a movie, things like that. How about you?
Yeah, I agree with that. Ditto everything. I am more of a family person than an independent by myself person. I also realized too, I like to have my alone time for just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like just enough time for me to get myself like things that I need done or like things, hobbies that I enjoy, just a little bit of time maybe each day or each week. But then after a while, I'm texting Kyle like, when are you gonna be home? Or like you and I get together, or we're pretty social as far as like going out with friends and going to dinner with our family and things. So I would say we're definitely people. We like to be around people, and so that's mine too. I'd rather be snowed in with family, like you said, cards, or doing a puzzle. I think a winter puzzle would be fun.
Yeah, I always liked doing winter puzzles. We used to do winter puzzles at grandma's during our holiday break. And you always more into the puzzles than me. I like to sit there and sip the hot cocoa. I just had a hard time. If I couldn't find the piece, I would get frustrated. I feel like you were a lot more patient with that. But that was always fun to see if how much of the puzzle we could get done before we had to go back to college or back to school.
Yeah, I actually thought about getting a puzzle out for my students for when they finish work. I did that with my first graders one holiday season. I just put a puzzle out and I figured once they got done with their stuff, they got their stuff done. They were finished. They could go work on a puzzle. And puzzle skills are still like really good. Like it still helps you think and you're looking at patterns and all of that. Um, so I might actually do that with my fourth graders as well. I feel like it would keep them busy and my Ole
I think it
finishers.
would be. Yeah, I think they would really like that. The next one isn't on our sheet here, but it was one I was just thinking about. As more recent moms, we haven't really gotten into the traditional holiday things quite yet, like with Santa Claus and stuff like that. But would you rather do Elf on the Shelf or a homemade advent calendar?
I think I would rather do a homemade advent calendar and have Andrew just every day open one of the pieces or the doors or whatever it is on it. Just because Elf on the Shelf seems like a little much to me. And like some of my students asked, like, when is an elf gonna come to our room? And like both first and fourth graders have asked. And I just think it's like a lot of work every single day trying to come up with something new. And like you can have like your elf. The elf does take some breaks and rest and things like that too. So you could for a couple of days be like, the elf is on in hibernation or the elf is taking a vacation. They'll be back soon or something like that. So like the elf does do things like that. But I feel like we never had it as kids and we were fine. I don't know. I just think it's a little over the top. That's my personal opinion. I know a lot of people have fun with it and it's all like all power to them. I love watching people's elves and what they do, but I don't know. Maybe I'll get into it like if I see Andrew's friends and stuff, though maybe if they have an elf, maybe I'll get into it too. I don't know. How about you?
I'm kind of on the same boat as you. I think it's a really fun and cute idea, but I also kind of wonder like Santa Claus is universal. And
Yeah.
sometimes with Elf on the Shelf, I went into a classroom the other day and they were going around the circle sharing what they did over the weekend and stuff. And this one kid was saying all this stuff about where the elf had gone and what the elf did and stuff like that. And another kid raised their hand and was like, how come the elf never comes to my house? How come we
Yeah.
never get to do that? Like,
Yeah.
and it's like the teacher was kind of like, oh, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
And so like, but like Santa Claus is universal and he visits everyone.
Yep.
And or mostly everyone. Um, and I think you might run into that more. And but also, like you said, it's a lot. I mean, it's really fun, it's really cute. Every parent, I think, can celebrate how they want to and how they like a lot of people might look at my crazy Pinterest ideas and be like, well, that seems like a lot of work too. So,
Yeah.
I mean, everyone each their own whatever motivates them or excites them, or if their kids are really into it, I think then you do you, and I think that's awesome, and I'm behind you on that. But I think for me, I'll probably stick to like doing homemade cookies and doing that. Maybe like this year I made a paper chain for Dean to take off a paper each day. I do think the
Yeah.
advent calendar is kind of cute. I might do that in the future and put like either a little treat in each one or a little gift or prize under each one. But that's kind of my thoughts on that one. I think it's a cute idea, but I think I'd pick the advent calendar.
Yeah. Okay, so this one being that we were 9 months pregnant not that long ago, would you rather be 9 months pregnant and walking to Bethlehem or riding on a donkey? Or would you rather be 9 months pregnant and have your baby in a stable?
For me personally, I would rather be walking. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I should say that because I mean, if I was on a camel, that wouldn't be very comfortable. But I did have a pretty good pregnancy up until the very end. Like the very end, my feet and stuff got really swollen and I got carpal tunnel. But I spiked a fever and stuff when I was in labor, so I couldn't imagine being in a stable where there's no heat or air conditioning, depending on what time of year it is. And I'm like spiking a fever and shaking because I was literally like shaking even in the hospital. So let alone in the stable, what if it was freezing out?
Yeah.
Um, and and it was just I was already uncomfortable in the hospital, let alone I feel like I'd be even more uncomfortable and stable. And we worked out a whole pregnancy, so it might be kind of like I got this walking. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was
What's
thinking
your
too.
thoughts?
Yeah, I giving both at home. I think of like in a stable kind of like similar to at home. There's a lot of moms that do, and I'm like, man, they are super women. But I that scares me to have a baby at home. I'm like, just in case something went wrong, or I actually had a C-section for Andrew, so now for my second birth, if we ever have another child, I'd be like even more nervous, and so I'd want to be in the hospital. And the walking, yeah, it doesn't really scare me too much. I feel like, I mean, it's a lot farther than than we probably think, but
Yeah, we can't really visualize
yeah,
it.
but yeah, walking out our whole pregnancy, I'm like, oh, I could walk 9 months pregnant. I was jumping around at 9 months pregnant.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so should we just do one more?
Yeah, that sounds good. Let me see. Oh, I did that one. Do you have one?
Yes. Would you rather have hot cocoa or eggnog?
Oh, um, if the question is like for the rest of the holiday season, hot cocoa, because I don't get sick of that. Eggnog, I'm a 1 cup, 2 cup person, maybe every holiday season, and then it gets to be a little bit too much for me. So hot cocoa.
Yes. And what's funny is I remember when you mentioned us going to Florida one year for Christmas. I remember us sitting in the hotel and everyone was drinking eggnog and I'm like, ew, this is not,
Yes.
how are you drinking
You're
this?
like, what is this stuff?
Now Now I love that, like you said, that 1 or 2 cups, like just for like the nostalgic, like you're sipping eggnog and you have a little cinnamon on top. But yeah, if I had to choose one, like you said, to drink the rest of the season, it would definitely probably be hot chocolate. But I do like having, I actually got one of those just small individual servings of eggnog the other day when I went to the grocery store. And I
Oh,
like sometimes adding it in my coffee as like an
oh.
eggnog latte.
Well, I guess that makes sense because like at Caribou they have the fa la latte, which is eggnog,
Yeah.
like
So
eggnog and
I just
coffee.
And there's actually now oat eggnog and stuff that's supposed to be a little healthier.
Hmm.
And it's not as sweet and thick. So that one's kind of good. And then you just froth it up and add a little bit to your coffee. It's not too bad.
Oh,
I did that last year. This year I haven't gotten any, but
yeah. Yeah, that would be good. All right. Let's move on from our would you rathers. If you guys have any good would you rathers, let us know in our comment area in our podcast or message us on social media. We'd love to hear those. But let's move into our favorite. Should we do favorite recipes, Morgan, or do you want to do like our gifts for this year? What do you prefer one over the other?
since we were kind of talking about eggnog and coffee and stuff, maybe we should into recipes and then wrap up with traditions and our gift guide.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. So, you guys, I have a favorite recipe that is, I really enjoy it. It's really easy to make, but also it's a crowd pleaser. So, one of the reasons why I really enjoy making it is just because my grandma Carol used to make a cheese ball all the time for holidays. Thanksgiving, Christmas, we'd always have a cheese ball. So one year, like probably like 3 or 4 years ago already now, one year I just decided I was gonna make a cheese ball and I didn't have her recipe. My Papa John actually did message me her recipe one time, so I do have it now, but at the time I didn't. So I just looked on Pinterest for a cheese ball recipe. And it's pretty much similar to hers, but it's like amped up a little bit. Like there's a little bit more things in it. So it's cream cheese, bacon, pre-cooked. I just do the pre-cooked bacon, put it in the microwave, then you don't have the mess. Shredded cheese, I do the sharp cheddar, parsley, garlic, Worcestershire sauce, pecans, and a packet of dry ranch seasoning. You just,
Mm.
I mix all the stuff together and then I leave enough out to do as like a top coat or like a coating on it. So then you foam it into a ball and then you roll it in the leftover ingredients. And then you just use a knife and Ritz crackers is what I like to use with it. But a lot of people enjoy it. Every time I bring it, it's usually gone by the time we go home. And it's super easy. And then you can make it anytime and just stick it in the fridge. You don't have to worry about it keeping it warm or anything like that. So that's one of my go-tos. Another one of my go-to recipes is peanut butter balls dipped in chocolate. This one's super easy. Everyone makes them for the holidays. I'm not even going to share the recipe because you guys probably all have your own recipe for it. But it's my go-to when I see like a table of goodies and those peanut butter balls. Usually I grab a few of those. Or if I'm just walking from watching football or a Christmas movie and I'm walking into the kitchen, I snag one out of the refrigerator. It's just my like quick and easy grab. I prefer those sometimes over some of the other holiday treats. And then you guys, I am drinking another tradition. Grandma Carol is getting lots of shout outs tonight. So she always did Kahlua and milk. Sometimes she would do half and half. But typically she had milk in her refrigerator. Oftentimes she did whole milk as well. But I just tonight did Kahlua and regular 2% milk and just a little bit of cinnamon on top. So the cinnamon I added just for something festive tonight. But this is a delicious holiday sipper and one that's like just super simple and easy, and a lot of people like it. If you want to make it a White Russian, you could add some vodka to it, but I prefer it without vodka because it that makes it a little bit strong for me. But those are my three like holiday favorites. And then I do have a healthier recipe as well that I want to share, but I'll wait on that one when we talk more about like staying healthy for the holidays. So what are your like indulgent ones that you like to
Yes.
make?
So I'll start with a cocktail. So you shared your Kahlua. I love Kahlua too. But another one that I really enjoy is holiday sangria. I've been really into, we mentioned those Trulies in the beginning of the podcast. I've been into like the holiday flavors, and like pear has been sticking out to me
Oh,
as a holiday flavor. Same with like cranberry or orange. Those ones are also in that Truly pack, but I feel like they are really good in the sangria. Like we went out to a restaurant a few weekends ago with friends, and I got a sangria, and it wasn't necessarily a holiday sangria, but it did have pear and cranberry in it, and it was really tasty. And I feel like you can make it in a lot of different ways as long as you have like a red wine base. I think
oh
you could
yes.
change and add like your muddled fruits in there, and then just adding in some like frozen cranberries and stuff just makes it look like a holiday drink. So even just garnishing it with like an orange slice or some cranberries. And I saw another thing on Instagram that was by oh, I think she's called the Kale Foodie maybe. But
Oh,
she
is
just
it
took
Kale
cranberries,
Junkie?
Kale Junkie. She just took like cranberries and she like rolled them in sugar and stuff, and then like put those in the drinks, and she actually put
Oh,
them in ice cubes, and then the ice cubes go in your drink. So I think that would be really festive. And then my mother-in-law, over the last few years, one of my very first Christmases that I spent celebrating with Tyler's parents, she always enjoys drinking butterscotch like schnapps, or it's like the Ice Hole brand, but she just puts that on ice. And so you just get a little bit on ice, and it's just a sipper. And we would sip that while we were opening gifts and stuff. This year, she actually wanted to try, she found a recipe on, let me find it on my phone. She found a recipe online that she asked me if I would get the ingredients to make. It's a dirty snowman. If you guys are on YouTube, you can see the picture. Never mind, it's glaring. It's been never mind. It's vanilla ice cream, hot. It's gonna be, you guys. This is an indulgent one. Vanilla ice cream, hot chocolate, Bailey's whipped cream, and sprinkles.
Oh,
But I might still have to get the butterscotch schnapps because I've gotten used to that. So maybe I won't drink it the night we do the celebration with them, but I might have to get it just to sip myself. And then one thing for like for snacks and stuff, I really like those cookies with the star or the kiss on top.
mm.
Those are some of my favorite ones. And then I really like the appetizers too. Like shrimp cocktails are always one of my favorites at the holidays. I love like veggie trays and stuff. So maybe that will lead into our healthy tips and tricks. So, but appetizers are always something that I look forward to. I think when you have a holiday party, definitely have to have the appetizers because it sometimes takes a little bit before dinner is ready.
I agree. And the appetizers are nice because usually people leave them like set out on the counter. So even like after you've eaten dinner or lunch, you can go back and snack on those a little bit. Or if you're playing cards with family or opening presents, you could grab a few more. I agree with that. And then if you spend all day with your family and go from like 11 till nighttime, oftentimes people will make a second plate for like dinner time. So then you can eat some of those too, which is nice. And if you want
Mm-hmm.
something lighter, like if you've had a big meal at lunchtime.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Also, what time of day do you guys celebrate your holidays? Like listeners, because um
I was gonna say, Megan, I celebrate with you.
because I was listening to another podcast and they were talking about how they thought it was weird that some people meet to celebrate their holidays like at 11 or noon. They're like, oh, we meet at like 4 or 5 and then we eat dinner at 6. So is it just like an Iowa thing to eat, like celebrate holidays around 11 or noon? I know some people do evenings. Like dad's family always used to do Christmas Eve night, but like mom's side always did lunchtime. So listeners, which do you do? It'd be interesting to see like what's more common.
Yes. Yeah. And Tyler's parents always do evenings, and like our family always does like noon. Yeah. Even though the last few years though with mom we've been doing a white elephant, and we've been doing that baking all day and then doing the white elephant in the evening.
Yeah.
But it seems like now going forward, we probably will do it again at noon because I think she likes to do it at noon, and we'll probably just like this year we're baking a different day than the day we're having it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Tyler's parents like to do evening stuff, like even for Thanksgiving and stuff.
Yeah.
And guys, I should preface that if you are on YouTube, I've switched my legs a few times, and I promise I have shorts on. So if you saw my leg, just wanted to say that because I didn't want you guys to be like, man,
She's just wearing a
she's
flannel.
giving a show over here. Yeah, yeah. So I just wanted to let y'all know that I have shorts on. Okay.
It's one of those nights, you guys,
All
where
right, let's
we're doing a makeshift setup. We're both in our bedrooms and we have laundry around us, and yeah, so
it looks like I have two dressers, but this is actually a mirror.
but yeah, so
Okay,
leading into
let's talk about healthy
healthy
swaps.
recipes, yeah. Um, so one of my go-tos this year already, I've only actually made it once, but I think it's gonna be my go-to. Um, is I actually shared
Brandon, you guys
it.
can tell we're not experts. Don't listen to this podcast if you want an expert tips and advice.
Yeah, this is unedited. We're just going with it.
We're just
So,
we're just giving you what's worked for us.
so I actually just posted it in my accountability group. It's a gingerbread shake, and I made it today, and it's delicious. It's with unsweetened almond milk. It's ice, vanilla chai, superfood shake. So our superfood shake has protein in it, but it also has vitamins. It has superfoods in it. So it's supposed to be your daily dose of dense nutrition beyond just the protein. And then it has cinnamon and ginger and vanilla extract. I made it today. It's delicious. I'm thinking about making it again tomorrow morning because it's so good. And I'm hoping that my members like it too. So that is something that I like to do in our accountability group is throw out some holiday recipes that they can try, and then I can also make. That way, we're still being festive, but not always having the high calorie treats. Um, but yeah,
With
that's
that,
one of mine that I'm really liking so far.
I wanted to say I want to try that one. I'm out of vanilla chai Shakeology, so I need to get more. I should get some more before the holidays
Well, and I
are
think you could
wrapping
even,
up.
yeah, and I think you could even do just plain vanilla Shakeology, or if vanilla, like listeners, you could just do plain vanilla protein and put in those gingerbread spices and with it,
Mm,
and you could kind of make your own.
that's a good idea.
What's your
I
healthy swaps?
interrupted you. My healthy swap. So I really like to make a homemade breakfast. Tyler's pretty big in making breakfasts on the weekend. So usually we do like this morning. He's actually hunting this weekend, so I haven't seen him a whole lot this weekend. But like this morning, I made a English muffin with an egg and sausage and cheese on it. So I like to do that. We like to make homemade French toast or pancakes. We used to be really big into cinnamon rolls. I haven't really made those in a long time. I've been trying to not buy them because I love cinnamon rolls. Cinnamon rolls are
Hmm.
like my like weakness. But if I just don't buy them, then they're not an option because even though it's okay to have them every once in a while, it just doesn't fit in with my goals to have them all the time. But some healthy swaps is making healthy pancakes. So a lot of times Tyler will not eat pancakes unless they're your traditional Bisquick pancakes, but I can make his. I'll make his and then I'll make like Dean and I like the banana oat pancakes or something like that. And then I also enjoy there's a recipe that's cinnamon roll muffins or cinnamon roll donuts, but it's using like almond flour and a little bit the instead of like a homemade frosting and stuff, it's like a I think it might be like a
Doesn't it have sour cream in it?
yeah, I was just gonna say it's like sour cream, vanilla, and cinnamon, I think, blended together to make the icing. So
Yeah.
that's pretty good. And then I also really enjoy egg bakes. Like last week, actually, for my meal prep, I made an egg bake for lunch and I just put in a ton of veggies and I put in some protein. And so that was my meal prep for last week. But I also really enjoy making an egg bake on the holidays too, because then you get a good source of protein before you head to your dinner or holidays. And if you fill yourself up, a lot of people make the mistake of not eating breakfast on the day of a holiday because they think, well, I'm going to go eat a lot of food, so I'm not going to eat breakfast. But if you actually stick to your normal routine, then and you fill yourself up, then when you go to the meals, you won't be tempted to eat as much because you'll already be full. And you might still want to try everything, but you might not take as large of portions if you are satisfied already.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I try to do that with just getting in a breakfast, but then also I recommend still getting in movement, even if it's so if you're following a workout calendar, then making sure you're getting your workout in that's scheduled for that day. But then if you don't have one scheduled, still doing some kind of movement, whether it's stretching or yoga or something like that. And then making sure you're drinking your water, resting, all of those things. That's my big takeaways for just what I've learned with staying fit through the holidays.
I
Morgan,
think
we
so
only
too.
we only have 2 minutes left to record. So, really quick, do you want to talk about what you're going to get Dean this holiday or kind of your plan
Yes.
for gifts?
So for him, since he's this age, I've been doing, I think we've only like last year we bought 5 gifts. This year I think we bought about 5. And I like to add variety to his gifts. And as he gets older, my mind might change about that. But for this year, I bought things that I knew he would really enjoy, but that didn't break the bank, especially while we're saving to buy our house and stuff or build our house. So I bought him some dinosaurs because he has a lot of farm toys, but he doesn't have a whole lot of other toys. So I bought him some dinosaurs. We bought him some books. I bought him a Christmas book. I bought him some socks and underwear because we're going to start potty training. So I wanted him to get him some stuff that he needs, but also a few things that I think he would enjoy. How about you?
Yeah, for Andrew, we are going with more toddler toys, so like trucks and tractors, sensory items. You can't go wrong with books, clothes, and then also I found at a boutique some natural Play-Doh, so like if he does eat it, it's okay, it's like safe. But it's like shaped like a Santa Claus, so I'm excited to try that with him. And then for Kyle, I feel like guys are really hard to shop for, and so one thing that we've always done in the past for like pre kids was go on lots of concert dates. So I got him
Mm.
some concert tickets. I won't say where in case he does listen to this, but that's kind of my plans for gifts for just our immediate family.
Awesome. Well, you guys, we didn't get to our fun traditions and stuff. We kind of talked about them throughout, so that's okay. And I just want to wish you all a blessed Christmas and just remember that true meaning of Christmas and that Jesus came down and saved us from our sins.
Yep, and I am thankful for all of you guys for listening, and we just want to let you know we appreciate you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great Christmas.